I'm an Olympic medalist boxer and I'm about to have my first Brazilian Jiu Jitsu tournament. Let's go. What just happened when I fought in the Australian Jiu Jitsu National Championships might surprise you. It made me so emotional to the point where I couldn't speak after because I was crying so much. Now, a lot of people thought,
oh, you've boxed at this high level, this is going to be easy for you.
But let me tell you, the last tournament I competed in was in the 2008 Olympic Games, which was over 16 years ago. And as you're about to see on this video, this wasn't easy for me in the slightest. Here I was, nearly 40 years old, walking around a venue, sizing up who might be my opponent, having to check me weight, getting them pre-fight nerves that I never thought I would ever go through again. Now, before I show you exactly what happened in the tournament, I want to tell you a little bit about my journey, how I got here. Because after the Olympic Games in 2008, I was an undefeated professional boxer. Then I got forced to retire due to hand injuries. I started drinking, I got fat, I got depressed, and I was in a really dark place in my life. But now, at the age of 39, being in the best shape I've been for absolutely years, I have the confidence to try this whole new martial art and put my reputation on the line. Now, you might be thinking,
reputation? What reputation?
well, if you're not sure who I am, I started boxing when I was 10 years old. I had 106 fights in my career, winning 7 national titles, a European gold medal, and I boxed for my country 56 times, where I was the captain of the England boxing team. And when I got forced to retire, rather than giving up, I pivoted and I moved to Los Angeles and started focusing on teaching boxing for fitness rather than boxing for fighting. I put all of the money that I had left from my fighting career into an empty warehouse in Santa Monica, and I turned it into a boxing fitness gym. The gym exploded and started to generate millions of dollars. It was packed all the time. We even had some of the biggest celebrities in the world wanting to box with us. And it was so successful, that's when I created an online course sharing our methods of teaching boxing for fitness to other people. And this is what I'm still doing right now with my online certification course. And on top of that, I currently educate millions of people every single month on how to get better at boxing or how to gain confidence if you're ever in a street fight. And I do this on my social media platforms. And because of this, I just put 10 times the amount of pressure on myself to compete in this tournament, which you're going to see in a minute. And as for my jiu-jitsu journey, I started training a few years ago at ZR Gym in Los Angeles when I took my 3 little girls to the class. And right then I thought, ooh, I want to give this jiu-jitsu a try. I wanted to show me kids if they can do it, I can do it as well. And I actually made a video of my first 30 days of training in jiu-jitsu where on day 1, I spar with a small purple belt. And on day 30, I spar with a purple belt again to see if I got any better. But it was during them 30 days that I ended up absolutely hooked on jiu-jitsu. But even then, I really didn't think about competing or had any ambitions of doing that. After a couple of months of training consistently, I got my first stripe, which basically is a bit of white tape that goes around the end of your belt. And you get this from the gym's professor to show that you've been committed and consistent with your training. And as well, the stripe tells you that the coach recognizes that you've been improving on your techniques. In jiu-jitsu, you regularly get 4 stripes before you move up to the next color belt. And after a few months of getting my first stripe and training consistently 4 to 5 times a week, I got my second stripe. I was obsessed, but still, no chance will I ever compete in jiu-jitsu. And then at the end of 2022, nearly a year of doing jiu-jitsu, mine and my wife's online businesses were taking off and we made a huge life change. We left Los Angeles and started to travel the world with our kids. We were bouncing from city to city, country to country, which was amazing, but it made it very hard to train consistently. And if you've ever done jiu-jitsu, you will know you've kind of got to be consistent if you ever want to get good at it. We were going to gyms here and there in countries like Thailand, Malaysia, the Netherlands. Wherever we were traveling, we were looking for a jiu-jitsu gym. But this was tough. And we spent some time in Miami in 2023, and my good friend Steve Krebs, who is now a black belt, invited me to the famous Fight Sport gym to train with his friend, who is a BJJ legend, Cyborg. This guy is 12 times heavyweight champion, and training with him, I learned so much in the few sessions that we did. I even got to shoot a video with Cyborg that went pretty viral on the internet. Maybe you've seen it. Here's a little clip here. How many times do you think you could submit me in 6 minutes?
In 6 minutes? 20 times.
In 6 minutes?
Oh, easy.
This is ridiculous. I cannot believe how fast this big guy is. But that was one of the last times I trained jiu-jitsu for nearly a year. I was back on the road with my family, traveling around Asia. This was until we got to Australia, mid-2024. And we knew we were going to be settling here for at least 12 months. So the first thing we did was try to find an amazing jiu-jitsu gym for our kids. This was huge for our family because we know the impact that jiu-jitsu can have on children is massive. We tried lots of gyms around the area and we weren't really getting the right vibe until we found a gym owned by a Brazilian called Marcelino Freitas. And it turned out that this guy was only a 5th degree black belt with over 28 years of experience competing and training at the highest level. This guy is 3 times world champion, 7 times Brazilian champion, and 2 times Pan-Pacific champion as well. And straight away, me and Sarah were like, yes, this is the guy to teach our girls. So then it was time for me to get back on the mat. But it was around now when kind of lost the bug for jiu-jitsu. I felt like I probably forgot everything that I'd learned in the past. I didn't know if I was going to be hooked at this again, or maybe I was just going to do it now and then because my kids was doing it. And after a couple of weeks, yes, my body was really sore, but I was hooked again. I started training 3 times a week, then 4 times, then 5 times, and even 6 times a week. It's all I was bloody thinking about. And I don't know what it is about Marcelino's teaching style, but it was really sticking with me. I started to learn one thing, and then I'd learn another thing, and then another thing, and remember it as well. Whereas in the past, I felt like I would learn something, and a few days later, I would totally forget it. And it started to become muscle memory, which is amazing, but by no means whatsoever was I an expert at any of these techniques, but it did help me grow in confidence. Then a couple of months of training consistently went by, and Marcelino awarded me my 3rd stripe on my white belt. And it was great, but still, I had 0 intentions of ever competing. Even though I was loving jiu-jitsu, I knew it was great for my mind and my body, even though I was sore all the time. I just really enjoyed the training. And I think it's because retiring from boxing, it kind of left a void in my life. Now with jiu-jitsu, you can be very competitive, but unlike boxing, to be competitive, you're going to get punched in the head. I'm not getting punched in the head, so I'm not getting them brain problems that so many fighters have when they continue to box even after they retire. A couple of weeks went by after I got my 3rd stripe, and everyone was talking about the national championships are happening in a few weeks, and they were always asking us, are you going to be doing it? And I was saying no chance. In my mind, I was thinking, this is not the type of pressure that I need in my life. And to be honest with you, I was scared. Not scared of getting hurt, but scared of losing. And the easiest thing to do was say, nah, not this time, nah, and just not do it. But it was my kids who unintentionally made me do this. You see, I've been reading them this book called The Warrior Kid. It's a story about a little boy who's got no confidence, and his uncle introduces him to jiu-jitsu and makes him compete. When I read this to me 3 girls, they all really wanted to compete in the national championships, and that's all they were talking about. And I was like, oh wow. I knew it was going to be good for them, so I couldn't say no. But then I thought, well, if they're doing it, why am I not doing it? Because I'm scared? Come on, Tony. So I decided 1 week before the tournament, I'm going to do this. Then I signed up online and my heart started racing. My palms were getting so sweaty. I had 1 week to do this, even though I'd been training for months previous. And with jiu-jitsu, you can see who's entered in your tournament. I seen there was 5 people in my weight category. One of the guys had won multiple gold medals in the past from different tournaments, which made it even harder for me and my confidence once I seen that. But here we are. We had a week to go and I had 3.5 kilograms to lose to make the 82.3 category. And I used artificial intelligence to help me. Tell you what, this AI is amazing. I've never thought about it like this before because I've never had to use a nutritionist before, but I'm telling it to act as a nutritionist, and I've told it about my weight, my goal. I don't want to lose any strength. I'm telling it that I'm training in 3 hours. I've just been for a run. What is the best things that I can have now to maintain my weight so I'm strong and I feel good? And it's just blasted me out a list. And then I said, I'm going to the supermarket now, turn it into a shopping list, and boom, shopping list's there. So I'm going to go over the shop across the street and get some food. And then when I said to it, after it showed me the shopping list, tell me the instructions to cook this stuff. Boom, I'm cooking it there. So that's what I'm about to do right now.
1 hour later.
So ChatGPT's got me in the kitchen cooking this chicken breast, some greens here. No, it's been years since I've cooked like this. I used to do it when I was fighting, and now I'm doing it again. But it's great having this assistant telling us exactly what to cook and the ingredients and all that.
A few moments later.
Good as well. ChatGPT told me how to cook it. It's good. So then, after I'd signed up, I went to the gym the next day and told all the guys in the gym that I was competing. I did my last week of prep, which went really well, even though I had self-doubts that was keep coming in my mind, like, Tony, what the hell are you doing? You're bloody 40 years old, man. You passed it. You've got no business in this sport. Yeah, this was keep popping in my mind. What if you lose? What if you get submitted in front of your kids? What if everyone sees these clips of you getting choked out and they go viral on the internet? These are the things that was keep popping in my head, which made it even tougher. So I was trying to fight them demons all the time on the week of leading up to the competition. Then my last training session before the competition would have been a disaster if this was boxing. And this was because I got a cut when I was trying to pass the guard. I got kicked in the head, or more like I headbutted someone's foot, because I'm still a novice at jiu-jitsu. But because it is jiu-jitsu, you know, a little graze or a cut here or there, it's totally fine. So this is my portion size. It's the day before the weigh-in. I've just finished my session there. I did a session at 12 p.m. So burning some extra calories, learning some new tricks. It's mad jiu-jitsu. I learned something brand new, a choke that possibly I could use tomorrow in the competition. I think anyway. But yeah, this is what I'm eating now. But I was still very anxious. So I texted a mate of mine, James Smith, who competes in jiu-jitsu, but he's also got a huge following online. And he's also got a book on confidence. So he was the perfect person to ask his advice for the way I'm feeling right now. And what he said to me was an absolute game changer in my mindset. It helped me so much. And I'm going to tell you what he said at the end of the video, because now I want to talk about the competition and what actually happened. Now, the night before the competition, I was lying in bed using all my visualization techniques that I'd learnt throughout my boxing career. The next day, I headed to the venue with the missus and the kids. So we've just left. We're on the way to the venue. Girls, how do you feel about my first competition?
Good. And I think tomorrow is our competition.
Yeah. Are you excited?
Yeah.
This time tomorrow we'll be driving there for you. Nervous for me? Or no? I'm excited.
Excited.
Do you think I'm going to win?
Yeah. Then remember, try your hardest.
I'm going to.
Even though you have one stripe below me.
How are you feeling?
Good. Think you're gonna smash it?
So we're here at the venue, just pulling up the MSAC Sports Arena. When we pulled up there, and I started seeing all the competitors come in, got a little bit of nerves. Not gonna lie. First look at the venue. I think I'm on number 6. Yeah. When I got there, this was a chance to see the venue and really visualize what's going to happen in the next couple of hours. And when I was walking around, I was keep getting recognized off people, and they were asking me for pictures and chatting to us, which was really nice. But at the same time, this really increased the pressure that I felt. I was thinking, all these people are going to be watching me compete and expecting me to do amazing things. So I had to focus on me breathing and control my heart rate. I also had to keep checking my weight when I got there, because I knew I was pretty close to the weight limit, and if I was 0.1 over, I wouldn't be able to compete. Now, the crazy thing about jiu-jitsu weigh-ins, what I just really learned a few days before, is that you weigh in right before you get on the mat to compete. Whereas in amateur boxing, you've got around 4 hours or even more to relax, rehydrate after your weigh-in. In professional boxing, you've got the day before, but here you've got to stand on the scales, then go on the mat, which was crazy, but at the same time, it makes a lot of sense. It makes it more fair for the competitors. Then walking around the venue, I was keep trying to look around to see who was my age and my weight, but it was hard to figure this out because there was so many people there. Now it's proper reminders of the boxing days being here. I'm like sizing up everyone and like, he looks my weight, he looks my weight, he looks my age. And then I'm at the check scales over there, and I'm like trying to spy on people's, you know, what the weight is. Then the time was getting closer to my competition. I got a good little warm-up in and I was ready. My first opponent, he had one match before me with another guy who was in our group, and he won within around 40 seconds. He was on his back and he got a tight collar choke on, and made me think, wow, this guy's a bit of a beast. So the guy I'm going against has just won his first match in like the first minute with a choke. I also seen that he had 4 stripes on his belt, which means he was pretty close to getting a blue belt. So I took a couple of deep breaths and relaxed. And I started thinking to myself, no way has this guy been working as hard as I've been working. And I got my fighter's mindset on and my game face on as I was walking to the mat. Then my opponent did something that really surprised us before the competition. One, he was a really nice guy, and he told us that he watches me videos, which really put me off track. And then just before we got on the mat to compete, I'm talking like 30 seconds, he asked me for a picture. Now this was really off-putting because in boxing, it's the complete opposite. Then I start thinking, is he trying to play reverse psychology here? Is he got some high-level tactics that might work when we got on here? My mind started going into overdrive mode about thinking, why is this happening? But then we got on the mat, we shook hands, and then it was time to go. So I've had in my head all week that I'm not going to pull guard, which means pull him on top of me. I'm hoping that he will try and pull me on top of him, because I'm pretty good at it when I'm on top and I'm strong. But then he grabs us and he's got a pretty tight grip, but I managed to break his grip, and then he tries to break my grip, but I've got pretty strong grip on his collar there. And I'm being very aware that he might try and grab me leg from here. So I try and do some feints to him, pretending that I'm going to pull him down and to see what he does. So I feint there with my feet, and still he's got that tight grip on me, I've got the tight grip on his collar, and I'm hoping that he pulls me guard. So I'm pretending that I'm going to pull his guard, and then he does it quickly. He pulls me down, which I'm happy about. Now I can try and use pressure on top. And there I'm trying to stack him, trying to put the pressure on his neck. He's got my collar, and I don't want him to keep hold of this for long because he just submitted his last opponent with this. I managed to get his leg round. I'm trying to pass his guard, getting inside control here. I'm using all my body weight to put that pressure on. Then I hear someone in the crowd shout, go into turtle, which means on his hands and knees. And I'm thinking, yes, do that. That's something that I've been working on in the gym with the person who's in the turtle position. And I can feel him trying to twist around, getting in this turtle position. I'm like, yes, this is great for me. So now I'm trying to get my hooks in, which means I'm getting my legs around his legs. He's got hold of my wrist pretty tight there. As I'm trying to get me hooks in, I hear Marcelino giving us some instructions. I get my right foot on the ground, which is helping us with balance. And then I pull him back, trying to get his back. I get hold of his back, and then I get one of my feet in, which is my hooks. He wasn't letting us get my other foot in, so I grabbed his neck. And now I've got one hook in, I think. I'm still a novice at this, so I'm not sure. But what I'm trying to do now is grab his collar and choke him. Then I managed to get both of my hooks in, which is a great position for me, a bad position for him. But he's got me sleeve, and he's making it really hard for me to choke him. I'm trying everything right now to get this choke on, but he's moving around, and I'm just breathing. I'm having difficulty trying to get his neck and get his collar to try and use his collar to choke him. But I'm breathing, I'm still relaxed, I'm in a good position right here. I've been in this position multiple times in training. I'm trying to keep my hooks in, he's trying to get them out. And I haven't got a great grip right now at his neck. So what I decided to do, which I've never done in training before, is I put my arm across his chin, and then I squeeze that choke even more. I think it's called a crank. Let me know in the comments below. And that was it. He tapped and I managed to get the victory. Whoa, I just won. I looked at my kids, I seen how happy they were. It was a great feeling.
Tony's a savage. First competition of his, I think, in Jiu Jitsu. Absolutely smashed it.
But next up in the final, I had the guy who'd won the gold medals in previous tournaments. And I did shake this guy's hand before, but this was a lot different to the first guy. This guy wasn't smiling. He was more serious. So I went into my fighter's mindset mode and I thought, F this guy, let's go. No way was I going to let this guy beat us. Even though that's not the type of mindset that I don't feel like you have in jiu-jitsu. I just went back to what I've knew all my life. And I spoke to the guy after, and he was actually a nice guy. But this was it, the final. We shook hands, it was game time. So with this, I just felt like this guy had a lot more experience. I did the same again. I waited for him to come and attack us. And as he rushed his feet in, I stepped my feet back, I pivoted around like a boxing move, and then he pulls guard, and I try to get on top, but he's closing his guard. Now he's trying to get up. And this guy's pretty strong. But because I'm on top, I can use my weight more. I can push him down. So now I'm here in his guard. I'm feeling pretty comfortable. He's opening his guard, trying to get out of this position. I can hear my daughter Jodie shouting, get loop choke, wants me to choke him. But yeah, if it was that easy, I would have definitely done it. But It's not. This guy really knows what he's doing for a white belt, that is. If you're watching this and you're a higher colour belt, you'll probably be thinking, no, Tony, you should just do this, it'll be easy. But then, yeah, he's grabbing me neck and he's pulling us down and he's got his guard pretty tight. Because I'm on top, I'm feeling comfortable, even though I'm not really doing anything, and he's got his guard locked. Every time he tries to get up, I'm pushing him back down, giving me some time to think. Then he's opened his guard. What I should have done is listen to Marcelino, stood up and tried to pass his guard. But I was just so scared in case I got swept. He was keep trying to grab me leg every time I was doing that. Then I went for the passing guard there. I jumped around, and now we've changed our position completely. I've got his neck in a type of guillotine choke, but this is something I've never practiced on before. I've just seen videos of people doing this. I've just seen MMA fighters doing this. So I've got this and I'm squeezing it pretty tight, but I just had a feeling that I didn't have the correct techniques of doing this. And I didn't want to waste too much energy squeezing because I still had a couple of minutes left of this competition. So I let go, and now the tables have turned. Now he is in my guard on top of me. He's grabbing me collar, but I grab his collar, and while I'm doing this, I'm just trying to make it feel uncomfortable for him by trying not to give him time to think. I've been in this position so many times, as everyone who's doing jiu-jitsu, and I've tried to do chokes from this position, and it's so hard to do. So for some reason I thought I'll try and choke him from this position, but I obviously couldn't. He gets up, and now it's on him to try and break my guard. I grab the back of his gi. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to make him think. Then I look at the scoreboard and I see that I'm 1 advantage point up, which is not a full point, it's an advantage point, and he's got 0 points. So I'm thinking now I'm a little bit ahead. Let's just, go through the time and waste a little bit of time. So I'm not trying to let him do anything. He tries to pass me guard, and now we switch. Now I'm back on top of him, which I'm feeling comfortable in this position. And because I've got that small advantage point up, if he doesn't score a point against me, he's going to lose this fight. So I'm thinking, hopefully, he'll make a mistake and I will be able to capitalise on that mistake. Marcelino's telling me to pass his guard because it's open. And when I try, he nearly swept me. So I thought, I need to think twice about doing that again. Then he gets my collar, then he gets the back of my gi, and he's going for a choke here, which is hard for him to get. He's actually got the right position. I actually learned this choke after this tournament, but it's not too tight, and it will be very hard for him to submit me from this position here. I'm feeling very comfortable right now. So what I try to do is something called a stack, where I'm putting the pressure on his neck here. Marcelino's shouting his guard's open, try and pass, so I try to pass the guard again, but again, I fail. He's got his legs there and he's keeping me in that position. Now this is the final of the Australian National Championships. I can see I'm ahead on the points. The time is about to ring. All I've got to do is not get swept and I'll be the Australian National Champion. And that's it. I did it. I won. I can't believe it. I'm the Australian champion as a white belt. Wow, this feels good. It's been a long time since I've won anything like this. Give my opponent a hug.
How was it?
Emotional, really emotional. I got really shaky. I was so nervous.
I couldn't believe what just happened. I walked to the mats to head to the podium, saw my wife and kids, and I just broke down crying, uncontrollably. And I was thinking, why am I doing this? Why is this happening? Why could I not control my emotions? I don't know when the last time I cried before this was, and I've never cried in front of my kids before. Not because I think crying's bad, I just never have. I'm a really happy person. And I think it's because of two things. One is how much pressure I put on myself to win. I can't stand losing. And the second thing is, after competing from the age of 10 years old, my boxing career got forced away from me at the age of 27. It was then when I had to do one of the hardest things in my life, which was come to terms with the fact that I was never going to compete again. I didn't know what I was going to do with the rest of my life. I was lost. I had to find something else to do. And now I've just competed again and won in front of my family.
He had a great performance, you know, his first time competing. His first fight, he got a submission. Second fight was a little bit hard. It's a little bit hard to put everything to work in the training. I was a little bit off the nervous, but I'm proud of him.
So what James Smith said to me before the tournament that took the pressure off us was, Tony, let's say if you did lose, then what? It's back to the drawing board with your amazing family, your amazing businesses. Oh, and how many YouTube awards have you got right now? You know what I mean, mate? This competition is a condiment to your life, not the nucleus. Then he said, fucking hell, maybe I should write a book. If you want to see me spar with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu 12 times heavyweight world champion Cyborg on a video that went viral, click here and watch this video next.